Two very difficult stories happened this week. A stabbing in a Walmart in Michigan and a mother and father out with their daughters in a park in Arkansas were killed. We're going to talk about violence, which is very interesting because I just last week released the mom safety video. Today, we're going to deal with physical violence. Today's podcast is going to be relatively short compared to all of my others. I will tell you why at the end. Let's jump into it. I'm Rick Sigmund. This is the Family Readiness Project podcast. I am very glad you're here, and I am all about families reclaiming their culture, making their families strong and safe, and all the wonderful things the way God meant it to be. First thing, the Michigan Walmart stabbing. We're going to talk a little bit in detail, so if you've got tender ears around, this might not be the podcast for short, cute people, and I'm talking about kids, just to be clear. Multiple people, 11 I believe was the final count, were attacked at a Walmart by a knife-wielding man. Included in that were a woman and a toddler. The child sustained severe neck injuries. Everybody is going to make it from what I understand. Witnesses that were on site report a very chaotic scene. No obvious warning signs beforehand. And so this is very, very cogent for the last topic that I covered in the podcast, the mom safety podcast with moms out and about with their children. This event took place. The individual was out of sorts. People proclaim he had a story of mental illness, and it was a folding knife. I carry a folding knife. Most men that I know do. Here's my folding knife. It's actually from Walmart, interestingly enough. It was cheap, it was good. Look at that. There's a little, and that's probably about the size the attacker had. This is a tool, okay? Just to be very, very clear, tools are just that, they're tools. They are neither good nor are they bad. We use tools in our kitchen every day to prepare food because it's amazing and delicious. Same tools can be used for nefarious intent, right? And an individual with a gun exercising his Second Amendment freedom, a former Marine, held this individual at gunpoint until the police showed up. And took him into custody. All right. Here's what I want to get across. You never know when something is going to happen. It is every single major and exciting and dangerous and violent event that I have ever been a part of in my professional career and even in my private life. You never pick the time or the place or the date or the hour that things happen. Okay, it's almost always when you least expect it. So it could be a Walmart, it could be a Kroger or a Fred Meyer, whatever your slice of that grocery store is, or anything else. It could be wherever, Target, okay? You never know. You cannot choose the people who walk through the door. Therefore, is life scary and dangerous all the time? No. But threats exist. They are out there, and people literally got hurt. On a professionally pretty decently well-trained individual, for someone like myself, I'll tell you what, and most of the people that I have trained with will agree with me, I worry more about a knife than a gun. Because when a knife is in play, people are going to get cut. Guns can be dangerous, surely in the wrong hands, but knives are silent, okay? You don't know, you don't hear a loud report, a big bang, all right? And they're everywhere. Look at England. I hate to throw Mother England under the bus, but they have banned all their firearms for years now. The rate of knife violence, stabbings, and killings has exponentially exploded. You think the rate of violence is bad here in the United States? You do a little bit of a deep dive study on England and the predicament they have there. They've actually banned knives. I can't even fathom that because I literally use knives every day of my life in, well, life. It's a tool, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is I want mothers, fathers, families to be aware. This is another good talking point with your children. Like, hey, if I've taught this before, it's the if this then game. It is a powerful, wonderful, and fun tool. You can gamify this and make it, not all subjects are fun, clearly, but this one can be good, right? So the if this then game, if this happens, then we would, dot is the premise of that. So, hey kids, if we're in Walmart and people start yelling and screaming, what do we do? I've said this before on other interviews and podcasts that I've been on, and I think even on here, but sometimes when I'm in stores, not every single time, but I like to make my kids little ninjas and super spies. And so I will put things out this way. Hey, we just came in this door. What if we can't leave by that door? Well, Daddy, why would we not be able to leave? Well, what if a bad guy comes in the store and starts doing bad things to people, and I need to get us out to keep you all safe? So the point with this is, where are the exits? Where else could we go? Where could we hide? How would we get in the back? What if we couldn't go this way? What if we needed to go that way? So on and so forth. If, this, then. Again, I'm not telling you the stories today to raise a fear level and anxiety and concern, because a prepared and ready mind is a much more calm and capable mind. And we transmit these things to our children. Do these things happen every day in every town across the United States? No, they don't. But they do happen. And I would rather you be proactively aware and ready than completely unready and ill prepared and incapable of reacting properly if something should happen where you and your family are. The next story, and this is rough, okay? I don't like this story. It made me mad when I read it, and I still get mad thinking about it because I don't know the background. And when I do, yes, I will update you here because details are important. And I'll tell you my thing with the news. I don't hang on the news all day. That is very detrimental to mental health. As a Gen Xer, that's a little weird for me to say, because we did not grow up or were raised thinking incessantly and constantly about our mental health. Is that good? Is that bad? That's a conversation for another time. But here's the deal. Over focusing on media is detrimental to your mental health, to your levels of anxiety, to what you focus on and think about on your own, and also what you project to your children. Okay? I'm about to talk to you about a really rough story. So if you don't want to hear it here, pause. Okay? Pause, skip ahead. Because it's just not a fun subject. People died. Let's jump into it. Okay, parents in Arkansas park. Two parents were shot and killed while visiting a park. You can look up the news story on your own. I'm not gonna put all the details out here. Their children witnessed it, and a suspect apparently has already been arrested. Here's the point. I don't know why this individual killed these parents. I'm thankful that the children survived. I feel awful for what they probably witnessed, and they will carry that with them the rest of their lives. Many of you found me through Autumn Kern's podcast talking about her and her children in a park, and tricky men approaching them and making her and her children feel weird. That's a prevalent topic. It happens more often than not this day and age, and it's something that needs to be dealt with. This is a very direct story that correlates with that topic. Again, I don't want to push fear, but here is what I am saying. I encouraged Autumn and everyone listening to pursue training. Do I want people to be, extremely armed and high alert 24/7 when they go out? No, I do not. I would very much like moms and dads to be ready for what might come. In the United States, We do have the right to bear arms. This is controversial to some people. I am not pushing this upon you. Carrying a gun is not for everyone, but it is a good option for defensive capabilities for most people. I can have a full-blown podcast on this later if you all are interested. Am I a pro-gun person? I personally am. Do I understand it's not for everyone? I do understand this. I have had lots of training and I continue to train often. But here's the thing, a well-trained person who is capable with your wits about them, as the previous story with the Walmart situation, a good guy carrying his weapon was able to stop the threat. The threat did not get shot or neutralized in that sense. He had the option, and if he had done that by American law, he would have been right, because this person had already harmed with, I think, the intent to kill other people. The good guy with the gun chose to control the situation, command the individual to put the knife down, and he held him in place until the police showed up. This is a good situation, and situations like this do happen pretty often across America. Why am I talking about this? Because rates of violence have increased in the United States across the board. Random occurrences, targeted occurrences, mental health is an issue that's on the rise. Over medication is a significant issue that just does not get talked about, and is also a cause of a lot of mental problems that people carry with them on a daily basis and can influence situations like this. Every time there's a mass shooting in the United States, it turns out 100% of the time that these people were on psychiatric medications. It's a fact. Is it an absolute correlation? Not necessarily, but that's something that we should not ignore, okay? Be aware. Have a plan when you go places. Have a plan and the capability to protect and defend your family. I'm talking to dads. I know most people on this podcast are moms and homeschooling moms, and you guys are wonderful. You're my tribe. My wife and I homeschool. We have homeschool family friends. Clearly, you're my people, okay? I also, over time, am going to create very direct content for fathers and dads out there. Why? Because we, of all people, probably should be a little bit more involved with our kids, especially if you claim faith. I'm not here to punch anybody or hurt a feeling today. I am simply making a proclamation that's very important. I would like this conversation to take place with your entire family. If you have not yet listened to the podcast about mom safety, I will post it in the notes below, whether you are listening to this on audio, whether you are watching this on YouTube or anywhere else in the world, because it is important that you go through this process, you think clearly, openly, and rationally about these things, and we engage our families with this information. Why? Because families are important. You're the basis of our culture. You're the foundation of all good society. And I want to lift you up and protect that. Because these two stories are why we think, why we prepare, why we engage with our families, why we put readiness in our vocabulary. Is it the overarching thing that I want you completely focused on at all times? No. But here's the deal. If we do think about these things and become proactive in how we teach our children, how we speak to each other about it, our friends, our neighbors, anybody, our community fellowship of where we worship, they will become more normalized where it's part of how we think and what we do. And that is the goal with this specific topic. The reason this is a shorter podcast this week is because I am working like a madman on this robust, it doesn't look robust, it's just paper, but it's the Digital Discernment Course. The moment I'm done with this, I'm going to continue filming the first part of that, Module 1 of the Digital Discernment course. It goes in detail about all things digital that can affect not just your children, but you. Because we have to look at the entire picture of what we allow in our home. And moms and dads, it starts with us, does it not? So we're going to do the whole mindset part, what the actual issues are leading up to the delving into the digital world, what things can grab our attention and specifically our children's attention, what is targeting them. There are nefarious groups and organizations. There's AI programming that overtly targets you and your family. This is big. It's going to be a multi-part course. I will be launching it absolutely for free, 100% on YouTube. If you have signed up for the Family Readiness Project newsletter, you will receive all of the support materials for free in your inbox. Why is this going to be free? Because I want to help families right off the bat. And this is the number one concern of moms and dads everywhere. Families of faith and families who do not necessarily have a faith or practice their faith overtly every week. I want you to have a resource because I look around and the resource that I'm building simply is not out there. I'm doing a disservice if I don't provide this for you. This is the gateway drug for Family Readiness Project. I clearly am intending that, and I want it to be a massive thing that helps you, your spouse, your kids, that you get excited to pass on to other families because it's a tool, okay? It leads you through conversations. It leads you through questions. It leads you through the process of what to look at and the principles of how to deal with these things. And yes, we get very specific and pretty gritty with this, okay? I would be honored if you would sign up. If you have not yet signed up for our newsletter and our podcasts and everything in the world, please come and do this. This is a free resource for you and your family, and I need some help. I ask this every week, and I mean it. Please tell somebody else about this. Email me, make a comment. I'm having the best time on the YouTube comments and on the emails I'm getting in. I love hearing from you guys because it's your families that I need to hear from. What resonates with you? What have I missed in your opinion? What would you like me to do in the future? And I'm getting a lot of that from you guys. So much more is on my whiteboard. I'm a whiteboard nerd. I don't care. Because this is what I'm going to be doing from here on out. I have a massive framework and plan. It's the 7 pillars. I've posted that on previous episodes, and I'm turning that into a download for you and your families. And I'll post it here in the show notes. If you have not seen it yet, you will see it with this episode. This is episode 7. And we haven't even started. We're just getting going. So thank you for being here. Your time, your attention means a lot to me, a ton to me, actually. Who else does it mean a ton to? Other families, because the more capable and aware and resilient you and your family become, the better off your family, your community, the people you fellowship with, the people you associate with are and will be. Thank you. I cannot do any of this without you. All right. Rick Sigmund, Family Readiness Project. Y'all have a great day.